Cherry Blossom family, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Jessie, also known as Miss Cherry, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. And if you're a returning guest, what's up guys? I'm so glad that you're back again. So with all of the amazing excitement and everything that's been going on with D23 happening over the weekend, I decided that I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I wanted to talk and interact with you guys and find out what your thoughts were on the D23 Expo that is happening or happened over the weekend in California. Now, for those of you who don't know what D23 is Disney's official fan club. And basically what it means is there is a convention that's held every 2 years in Anaheim at Disneyland at the Convention Center that goes over basically all of the updates for everything that's to come for Disney over the next 2 years. Now, this year they announced a lot and a lot of things that we need to talk about. So I just felt compelled to make this video. I am gonna go through mainly the updates that they have for the parks because I feel like we're a very park-centric channel. All of us, or most of us, share that in common, our love for the parks. And so I want all of us to kind of have some discussions, make some chit chat, like let's talk about these updates. So I will say this list is not all inclusive of everything that happened at D23. It's really park specific and I may have missed some things, but these are the things that I felt that we needed to discuss. So first and foremost, new things that are coming to the Disney parks in the United States are, there is a new parade coming to Disneyland, California, and it's called Magic Happens. Now, if you guys have not seen what Mickey is wearing, I'm like, oh, yes, honey. He is wearing like this cosmic Sorcerer Mickey outfit. I think it is so cool. It actually reminds me a lot of the Asian parks. A lot of their costuming over there is very elaborate. It very much spoke to what I had seen when I had gone to Tokyo Disney. I'm like really into it. And so this new parade is going to be debuting in spring of 2020, and it's the all new extraordinary Magic Happens parade that's going to travel down Main Street, USA in Disneyland Park, celebrating awe-inspiring moments of magic, both large and small, that are at the heart of so many Disney stories. Magic Happens reminds us we don't need wings to fly. Shooting stars were made for us to wish upon, and magic doesn't stop at midnight. I love the description of that. It makes me so excited. I really hope that how they're describing this parade is going to live up to how they described it. Fingers crossed. The daytime spectacular will feature stunning floats, beautiful costumes, and beloved Disney characters, all led by Mickey Mouse and his pals. The first float, guys, Moana, that's the first float that they debuted on her Voyager, Wa'a, or canoe. Moana journeys forth on the crest of a beautiful wave, inspired by beautiful koa wood carvings inset with LED panels providing a dazzling glimpse into the magic the ocean holds. Can we please get an applause? Finally, Moana is getting some love. Waves that are crashing around her, I just think it definitely captures her spirit, captures her voyage, and I am very excited about this float. The next float that's happening, which looks absolutely stunning, is celebrating the magic that happens when Miguel strums the guitar of Ernesto de la Cruz. The spectacular float, inspired by Disney and Pixar's film Coco, bridges the land of the living and the land of the dead with vibrant marigolds. Fantastical Albrije spirit animals join the procession along with Miguel's dog, Dante. Now, as some of you may know, I'm not the biggest fan of the film Coco. It just wasn't one that I really loved, which is completely fine. But outside of that, I do have an appreciation for what it means, the representation that it has. The story is beautiful. It just wasn't my type of movie, but I will say I think this float is stunning, and I love that they're doing the actual bridge from the land of the living to the land of the dead. I think it's gonna be so pretty. I love the character Dante. I'm very excited to see him in this float as well. I think these two specific floats are going to add so much to this parade. The next is the Regal Grand Finale of Magic Happens, which celebrates magical moments from Disney classic stories, including the trio of fairies from Sleeping Beauty who transform Princess Aurora's gown from pink to blue and back again. Now, of course, I felt that it had to have something with Sleeping Beauty, something that paid an homage to her, as this is her castle, this is her park. The three fairies that they have represented on this float actually look very similar to how the fairies are designed in the Tokyo parks. And I refer to Tokyo because I was there recently and things are definitely represented differently there. But I'm hoping that they're going to bring some of that technology, some of the costumes, some of the play with the lights that happen in Tokyo Disney over to Disneyland through this float. And if you guys haven't seen my vlog, I posted a vlog recently of the rainy day electrical parade that happens at Tokyo Disney. They had Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather represented on a float, and they were floating and they had LEDs that were like dripping off of their dresses. It's an absolutely beautiful float, really awesome parade, and I felt that I was really hoping that they're gonna use that and definitely capture it and place it into that float, fingers crossed. But I feel that Disneyland is overdue for a new parade. It is time, and so I think this is gonna be an awesome addition. I'm super excited to see it. So I'm going to be scheduling a trip sometime in 2020 to be able to go and see this parade. So also the parade is going to feature lots of floats, an energetic musical score, and a new song that is produced in partnership with singer-songwriter Todrick Hall. Who doesn't love him? He's an incredibly, incredibly talented individual. And the high energy music combines the original song with the classic Disney tunes in a fresh and contemporary style. Yes, Disney, I'm so into this. So overall, I'm absolutely into it. You guys will have to let me know down below which of the floats you are most looking forward to. I'm for sure looking forward to Moana. Cannot wait. The next big announcement coming to Disneyland Parks is the announcement of the Avengers campus. Now, you can suit up alongside with your favorite superheroes at the Avengers campus beginning in 2020 at Disney California Adventures. This campus is set up by the Avengers to recruit the next generation of superheroes. The first key address at the Avengers campus will be the Worldwide Engineering Brigade, also known as WEB, which will house the new Spider-Man experience, the first Disney ride-through attraction to appear this iconic superhero. Now, I found this very interesting. There's a lot of drama surrounding Spider-Man. This was still something that they announced, so I'm assuming it's still going forward. They announced this on Sunday, so I have to just make the assumption that this is obviously going to go forward, and it has nothing to do with the movie drama that's happening right now. And I have to say that I'm pretty excited about this. To me, I believe it's a virtual reality ride. Those are definitely not my favorite rides because I do suffer from motion sickness. Like the only virtual reality type of ride that I've ever been able to do was Flight of Passage, and it's definitely not like some of the other ones. So we'll see how this goes. But during an open house at WEB, the aspiring inventors are excited to invite you for a test drive of their latest invention, the Web Slinger vehicle, which allows you to sling webs just like Spider-Man. The attraction gives you a taste of what it's like to have actual superpowers as you help Spider-Man collect spider bots that have run amok. Now, I think what's really fun about this, it's like, I mean, to me, I think it's gonna be very similar to like Midway Mania or something along those lines. Interactive rides, I think, are so incredibly fun. And actually, when you look at the ride vehicle, it does definitely look like it's a Midway Mania similar ride vehicle, in which I'm happy with that. I just feel like when I go to places like Universal, like their Spider-Man ride, whew, I almost vomited everywhere. Like it was horrendous. So fingers crossed that we're looking at more of a Midway Mania style. I would really appreciate that. The next thing that's happening on the Avengers campus, they will also feature a PIM test kitchen, just as Ant-Man and the Wasp use PIM particles to grow and shrink just about anything. PIM Technologies is using their latest innovations to grow and shrink food at this eatery. Super cool, very reminiscent of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit of that back. Loved that, by the way. There wasn't much details outside of that. There's a picture, and there's a picture of what the outside of the restaurant looks like. I'm very intrigued. I'm curious if we're going to be made to feel either really small or really large. I'm assuming that we will be made to look or made to feel very small because it's part of the Ant-Man franchise, so we will see how that goes. Next on the Avengers campus, you will find heroic encounters including Black Widow, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Doctor Strange, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, superheroes from Wakanda and Asgard, and Iron Man. Yes, I love this. I'm not the biggest superhero fan. However, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy area, that whole Bugs Life portion of the parks that it's being taken over by Avengers Campus needed an upgrade. It did. It needed something new and something fun, and I know that they tried to bring that a little bit in the area that's kind of behind like the Animation Academy near the Guardians ride, near Mission Breakout, but they needed more room, and finally I feel like it's a great way to bring in more of the Marvel universe. It's going to appeal to more people, and I feel like because they developed Galaxy's Edge, I think they're really looking at, okay, well, let's keep capitalizing on different franchises of ours that people are really, really into. And so I'm excited to see what it's going to hold. Now, this will probably motivate me to watch all of the superhero movies, which I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Go Thanos. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't come at me in the comments. Anyway, moving on. As superheroes continue to assemble at their campuses, one of its iconic buildings will be the Avengers headquarters, where you may catch a glimpse of the Avengers along the rooftop. So that's pretty cool. It says this building, which will open in phase 2, so there are 2 phases to this build out, will become a future entrance to a brand new e-ticket attraction where you will step on board a Quinjet and fly along the Avengers in an epic adventure to Wakanda and beyond. You will team up alongside the Avengers in a battle to save our world against one of the most powerful villains they have ever faced. Imagineers are hard at work currently working to conceive an all-new innovative ride system to put you into the middle of this attraction. Anytime Disney mentions e-ticket and anytime Disney mentions Imagineers are making something new, I'm obviously in support of it. You'll have to let me know down below what you guys think like the concept of this ride is gonna be. Are we gonna get like a Star Tours-esque is kind of what I'm thinking, where we're gonna get different stories to make it super fun and interactive every single time that you go in? Fingers crossed. Because I love that when you go to Star Tours, and not that I'm a huge fan of Star Tours, don't get me wrong, but I do love that they have different storylines that you get to be a part of. So I'm hoping that there's some sort of variety in that, just because I feel like it makes it more fun and more exciting when you ride those type of attractions. Next, we're gonna be talking about a new attraction that's gonna come to both Disneyland and Disney World. It is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Previously, Disney announced that Mickey's Runaway Railway was going to be built out in the Chinese Theater, which it's almost finished. Now they're announcing that it's coming to Disneyland as well, and it's actually coming to Toontown. So on this, a little bit about the ride. It's a trackless ride. Visitors will board a train headed for a picnic with Mickey, Minnie, and their dog Pluto. Naturally, like any Mickey Mouse cartoons, things quickly go awry. The ride travels through a carnival, twister, waterfall, big city, factory, and a stampede of bulls. Okay, that's a lot to happen during a picnic. Trackless train cars splitting apart and reconnecting during the ride. That sounds like so much fun. At Disneyland, the attraction is going to be opening in Mickey's Toontown in 2022, so it's a few years down the road. The action is going to take place at Mickey's Cappy Toon Theater, and this is where Mickey and Minnie are going to be premiering their newest short, perfect picnic. Before you enter the cinema, you'll experience a special exhibit created by the Toontown Hysterical Society featuring costumes and props from the Toon world. Now, at Disney Hollywood Studios, Disney Imagineers are getting ready to open this attraction next year in 2020, and you're going to be invited to the Chinese Theater, which serves as a magical portal through which theater goers will step from the human world directly into the cartoon world for one of Goofy's adventures aboard Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I know that there's a little bit of heartburn that comes along with this ride taking over the Great Movie Ride in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Personally, I didn't have any connection to that ride, like any emotional connection. I have respect for it. I understand the history of it. I understand people's love for it. But for me, I'm totally fine with this new ride coming forward. I feel like another example of when this happened was when they took away Tower of Terror and replaced it with Mission Breakout in Disneyland. Everyone was really upset by that. It is an epic ride. So I trust Disney. I think they're gonna do a great job with this. It sounds like so much fun. I will say that I feel like how they've portrayed the Disneyland version sounds like a little bit more fun because it has all of the details and information of the story. Whereas basically the one in Hollywood Studios is like, hey, Goofy's gonna be with you and you're gonna go on a rail car. And it's like, okay. What else is gonna happen? I guess that maybe they just want the mystery to be there and the magic to be there when we ride it for the first time, but I kind of like knowing before getting into it. Let me know down below how you feel about this ride. There is some huge news when it comes to Epcot. In celebration of Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary, there are so many changes coming, and all I have to say is yes! Epcot deserves a facelift. Epcot deserves some love. We need updated pavilions. We need updated videos that are in like the France Pavilion, all of these different places. Yes, Epcot, finally, I'm so happy for you. I love Epcot deeply. My second favorite park for sure. I love going there, I love experiencing it, but there are some things that are outdated that need to be taken care of, and I feel like they're finally going to do it. So let's talk about it. The first thing that's being changed, the park will be unified with 4 different neighborhoods that celebrate a unique aspect of what makes Epcot so special. Where Future World currently stands, 3 new neighborhoods will spring up: World Celebration, World Discovery, and World Nature. And the World Showcase will continue to celebrate culture, cuisine, architecture, and traditions from around the world. World Celebration in Epcot will also feature breathtaking views of Dreamer's Point, lush gardens, a wishing tree, an interactive fountain, and a new statue celebrating the legacy of its original dreamer, Walt Disney. Now, I have seen several people on Twitter, several people on the web saying that this was the wrong thing for them to do, to just like put a statue of Walt there and call it good as like a tribute. But I feel a little bit like the presence of Walt being there is a little bit lacking. And so I think it's kind of nice that they're putting a statue there. For me, one of my favorite things to see in the park and to be reminded of the wonder and the magic and imagination and everything is when we get to go and visit the partner statue in Magic Kingdom. I mean, that's, to me, I felt that wasn't not enough, I guess. And also Epcot was Walt's brainchild. So why people are upset by that is a little bit, I get a little bit confused by it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I respect other people's opinions, but to me, I kind of liked it. I kind of like the idea of Walt having a different type of statue in a place that is as beautiful as in front of Spaceship Earth. I really hope that it doesn't disappoint as many people who are upset by this. I'm really excited to be able to honor Walt and to see Walt physically in the parks again. So thumbs up to that. I think that was a really nice tribute. A new pavilion at World Celebration is going to be the new home base for Epcot's signature festivals, providing a stunning view of the World Showcase and an ideal spot to witness the park's nighttime spectacular. This 3-level structure will have one of the most remarkable designs at any Disney park. So I have some opinions about this. 3 stories seems like a really large building, and Epcot I worry about placement, where it's gonna go. And they say that we're allowed, like, it's a great place to watch the fireworks, but is it gonna be available to the public? Probably not. It's probably gonna be something where it's like a DVC members, or it's probably gonna be something along the lines where you have to have a ticket to go watch the nighttime spectacular. I'm not 100% sure on this. However, what I will say is thank you, Disney, for creating a space that is permanent, where we can go and have a certain place to go for the festivals that are going on at Epcot. There has been confusion over time of where the festival center is for example, Festival of the Arts last year. It was very confusing. It wasn't in the building where the Food and Wine Festival has it. Anytime we get it's time for a new festival, we're not really sure which building we need to go to get our merch and do our things. So I'm kind of glad. I'm hoping that this is going to become like the central location, so they're not between those 2 facilities, and that way we know where to go and what to do. And I just think for organizational purposes, it's really nice to have a central facility for all of those festivals that they have, because one of the greatest things about Epcot is all of its festivals. So next, at World Discovery Neighborhood in Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will feature the first reverse launch into space. The thrilling, family-friendly attraction will feature a never-before-seen storytelling roller coaster that rotates to focus on the action wherever it may be. That sounds incredible. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy so much. I love Mission Breakout at Disneyland. I have really, really high hopes for this. Also a bit nervous because of motion sickness, so we'll see how that goes. I'm always one of those people, like, I'll try it one time just to see how it goes, but the thought of launching into space backwards, like, sign me up, no question. I've seen the construction of this amazing structure that they're putting into Epcot, and it looks epic. So I personally am very excited for this new attraction that's going into Epcot. Next, there is a new expansion to the Mission Space Pavilion. The new restaurant Space 220 will open this winter with an out-of-this-world culinary experience with a celestial panorama of the space station, including daytime and nighttime views of Earth from 220 miles up. All I have to say is that sounds really, really amazing. I am always a big fan and like very supportive of any time that Disney wants to add new food options. Jessi and I love to go and try all the different restaurants, and so I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping that I will be able to make reservations there very soon. I need to actually check because we do have a trip coming up in February, and I think he would really enjoy this as someone who really loves the outer space. I do feel that like the Future World area really desperately needed something else or something going on more than what is there. So these additions and these changes to that area I think are gonna be absolutely amazing and also like super, super needed. Next, in the World Showcase, they're gonna welcome the first Mary Poppins attraction in Cherry Tree Lane, which will join the United Kingdom Pavilion as the entire neighborhood of Cherry Tree Lane. Now, I personally am not a huge Mary Poppins fan, but I have a lot of Mary Poppins fans in my life, and for them, I'm so excited. To be honest, when you go to the UK Pavilion and you go down the little pathway in the back, there's not a whole lot going on. There's that little gazebo where they have like the rock show, which I love. I mean, it's super fun, but I think that it's gonna bring some more interest and some more exciting things to happen in the World Showcase, and I feel like that's so needed. I'm so happy for my Mary Poppins fans in my lives. You guys, it's finally happening. I'm so happy for you. So the next thing that's happening in the pavilions is in the China Pavilion. Wondrous China will take guests on a spectacular journey across China, filmed and presented in a completely seamless 360-degree digital format. Yes, Disney, this one really needed updated. I think it has probably never been updated. And it is definitely shows. I saw it last January and I was like, oh, they really need to update this. Like, it just wasn't, it didn't feel relevant anymore. I wanted it to be more modern and more up to date because it felt a little unrelatable at times with how outdated it looked and felt. So I'm very glad that they're deciding to focus on China and get this film updated. The theater inside is so cool. And also, guys, great place to get air conditioning. If you want some good AC, go into the China Pavilion and go in and see that show. Next, the France Pavilion is going to offer even more for guests to discover. They are including a new Beauty and the Beast sing-along in January 2020. Yes, okay, love this so much. I very much enjoy the Frozen sing-along, and I'm so excited that they're bringing Beauty and the Beast that has one of the best Disney soundtracks out there for us to enjoy and sing along. Basically, I'm not a great singer, but anytime I get to sing along with anything, like, I am super duper into it. And I just think that sing-alongs just in general are so fun. So well done, Disney. I think you're appealing to a lot of people when you're bringing a Beauty and the Beast attraction, and very good choice. I have nothing but support for this decision. And then in the summer of 2020, in the same France Pavilion, there are going to be opening the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, that trackless ride. It was announced last D23, but oh my gosh, it looks amazing. I've never been to Disneyland Paris. They do have that ride in Disneyland Paris. I cannot wait. And these attractions that they're putting in, I just feel are so needed in the World Showcase because there's such a lack of things to do, in my opinion, outside of eat or drink. It's just so nice to be able to do something else. And because so many of those things I felt were so outdated, I didn't really ever want to do them. So the only thing I would do at World Showcase would be go ride Frozen, and that was about it. And then walk around and eat and stuff like that. So I'm just very thankful that they're doing some of these updates. Also, they're going to be opening a new restaurant called the La Crêperie de Paris, which I really do like the bakery that they have in Paris. So I'm a little bit kind of like on the fence with this. I feel like they have a bunch of great restaurants in that area, so a little bit confused, but I wish that maybe they would have opened a restaurant elsewhere, maybe in the America Pavilion, where they just closed that restaurant. That might have been a good place to put a new restaurant. I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence about that one. I just kind of felt like it may have been unnecessary, but anyway, let me know down below what you think about that. Next, in World Nature, the new neighborhood, the reinvention of Epcot will include Journey of Water, inspired by Moana. The first ever experience inspired by the Walt Disney Animation Studios hit film Moana will let guests interact with magical living water in a beautiful and inspiring setting. So excited for this attraction. Again, like I said earlier, Moana, absolutely love Moana. It's gonna be interesting to see like what kind of a walkthrough attraction we're talking about. It looks almost like a maze from the artist conception that they put, or the artist concept that they put out. So it'll be really interesting to see like what exactly it's going to be like. Next, following the limited time run of Epcot Forever, A new nighttime spectacular called Harmony Us with a capital US will be the largest ever nighttime spectacular created in a Disney park. It will celebrate how the music of Disney inspires people of the world. Now, I'm a little bit confused. Number one, why are you making Epcot forever if you're going to change it 1 year later? Because, well, I'm not sure if it's 1 year later, but basically it looks like Harmonious is going to take over during the 50th. The 50th is going to be in 2021. So Epcot Forever is going to run like a year and that's it. It just seemed a little bit odd. I was a little bit surprised that they announced this. Now, however, with that being said, the concept and how it has to do with music and how Disney music has inspired people around the world, like that's what I'm talking about. I feel that music evokes so much emotion. It's a universal language. I just kind of wish they would have gone with that in the beginning instead of like stopping Illuminations and like going to Epcot Forever and then going, I mean, it's obviously not forever. Like, why are we calling it that? Why do we call it Epcot Forever? Epcot for a year? I'm gonna be calling it Epcot for a year. That's our new title for it, Epcot for a year. But Harmonious, how they've described it sounds incredible, and it sounds like it's definitely would speak to more people than Epcot for a year. So for me, I'm excited about it, but also I'm confused. What's Epcot for a year doing? No one knows. I mean, maybe you know. If you know, can you please let me know down below? I'm a little bit confused by it. Anyway, that's enough talk about the US parks. I'm very excited about all the cool things that are happening. We're gonna move into international parks. There's only 2 updates. They did talk about how Zootopia Land in Shanghai is still it's still under construction. They announced that at the last D23. Now, the new thing that they announced, the 2 new things that they announced were in Hong Kong Disneyland, there is going to be a new castle inspired by 13 different Disney princesses. That includes Cinderella's coach, Snow White's apple, and Belle's rose. The new icon is going to be called the Castle of Magical Dreams. When I read this, I had mixed feelings. When I saw the concept art of this, I was like, that is amazing. The reason why is because, as you know, I'm a huge Little Mermaid fan, and I was so excited to see that there was a point in the castle, I believe it's on the right-hand side, that looks like Atlantica. And then also, I was very excited to see that there was inspiration from Jasmine's castle too. Those are 2 princesses where their castles aren't really represented, and obviously so many others, because really the only representation there really is Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. So for them to include that many and it be, I mean, I was looking at this kind of like, it's almost going to be a tree of life, but for a castle, where you're gonna start looking at it and start seeing different points of inspiration from different princesses. So cool. I'm so into it. So, Castle of Magical Dreams, you are on my bucket list. I will get to Hong Kong and I will get to Shanghai. It's gonna happen, but probably not until after they make those changes. Now, the next announcement is a Frozen theme park land is coming to Disneyland Hong Kong. The land is going to give fans a chance to walk around Arendelle and even take a trip on Wandering Oaken's sliding sleigh, which is a roller coaster. Just gonna take a little sip of this tea. All I have to say is thank you, Disney, for not bringing this to the United States parks. I am not joking. Okay, guys, I love Frozen Ever After as a ride. I love it. But I am so sick and tired of Frozen. I'm over it. It was not the greatest Disney movie, in my opinion. And if I see one more piece of merch, or if we get a land, I'm gonna be so mad. So all I have to say, I'm glad it's not here. When I go to Hong Kong, I am going to embrace it. I'm gonna go for it. But to me, I am just like, whew, so glad it was not the US. So glad. And the reason why I say that, I just visit the US parks often, so I wouldn't appreciate it. Anyway, that's some tea about some Frozen. So let me know down below. Spill some tea with me. We'll have another sip. What are your thoughts on Frozen? What are your thoughts on getting a Frozen theme park and a theme park land? And the other question is, if you could have a land that was created in any of the Disney parks, what land would it be and which park would you choose? Ooh, I have an idea. I would love for there to be a Villain's Land, and I would love for it to be like way back behind Cinderella's castle, like behind like where Be Our Guest is, and I want it to be dark and sinister and just like, ugh, I could really use maybe a Hades underworld. I'm not really 100% sure. We obviously need an Yzma roller coaster. That is what I'm waiting for, Disney. Oh, fingers crossed that's gonna happen at some point. Anyway, moving on to our very last category, Disney Cruise News. So Disney Wish was revealed as the name of the 5th Disney ship. It's very fitting because it's making wishes come true, and that is at the heart of so many Disney stories. That's what Disney said about it. I love the name. I love the concept of that. It looks visually stunning. I do feel like they may have missed the mark just a little bit. Like when I think of Wish, I think of Genie from Aladdin. Nope, it's Rapunzel themed. Okay. I guess Dream was taken because like I would imagine, the Disney Dream is another ship. I'm like, the Disney Dream should be like Tangled themed or Rapunzel themed, but Wish is Genie's thing. Anyway, I just thought the choice of like having Rapunzel was a little bit confusing. Anyway, that's okay. It doesn't have to all make sense. So the ship's atrium is going to be bright, airy, and elegant space inspired by the beauty of an enchanted fairy tale. The Disney Wish is scheduled for a delivery date of 2021 and will set sail in January of 2022. The vessel will join Disney Cruise Line's award-winning fleet where guests experience the magic of Disney entertainment combined with the relaxation, tropical, sun-drenched beaches, and the adventure of ocean cruising. Also, more details on where this ship is going to stop. The second tropical destination is in the Bahamas. It's a place called Lighthouse Point. The new destination will celebrate both the stories of the Bahamas and the natural environment of the Lighthouse Point itself. Now, Disney intends to be directly involved in conservation efforts at Lighthouse Point location to protect the environment, and will be working with local artists to create a unique destination that is rooted deep in the Bahama culture and filled with Disney magic. That's something that I love about Disney, how they really work directly with the people that are local there to make it authentic and make it kind of the Disney-fied version of that certain area. Construction of Lighthouse Point is going to begin in 2020 with completion in late 2022 or 2023. I personally have never been on a Disney cruise. However, in 2020, I should be embarking on my first one. We do have reservations for one to do the Halloween cruise next year. I'm excited that they're adding more options. I do think it's great for them to expand their fleet. And so just in general, I think this is a great move on their part. I'm also excited they're adding a new destination because I feel that all the Disney cruises go to specific destinations over and over again, and so it's kind of nice that they're adding something new to the route. So nice job, Disney. I think it was really cool. I just feel the theming was a little bit confusing. But next, we are moving on to the most controversial, I believe, or one of the most controversial, the new Disney Parks application called the Disney Genie. It's a new digital offering set to debut in late 2020 that will enhance the way that you plan for and experience a Walt Disney World Resort trip. Joining other innovations like the Magic Band, Disney Genie is being designed to help you make the most out of your visit, whether you're a first-time guest or a seasoned pro. Disney Genie will make planning easier and more fun by providing customized itineraries geared towards your interests. From a royal princess-themed day at Magic Kingdom to a trip around the world at Epcot for foodies, and even the perfect day for thrill seekers, certain features of the Disney Genie will be available through your preferred travel professional. So at first there was a little bit of concern that this was going to take over a lot of what Disney travel agents do, and then there was that caveat that you have to get this through, portions of it through your travel agent. Oh, don't hate me, travel agents, but all I have to say is that Disney in general is difficult to plan for. There's a reason that there are so many online resources, so many travel agents, so many ways to decode tips and tricks, hacks for Disney vacations. There's a reason for that. And I do feel that to help make it a more enjoyable experience for all, that this application is necessary. I would feel really bad for someone who would spend all of this money on a Disney trip and not have the time or have the even knowledge or understanding of how much planning that you have to do in order to deal with some of the logistics that you're going to experience at Disney World. So for me, I think this is pretty flipping incredible. I'm really interested to see how it's going to interact with fast passes, if these are just going to be suggested itineraries. It's just kind of all up in the air, but for me, I'm kind of excited to see what they have to suggest. And I'm a seasoned person. I go to Disney World several times a year, but for people that are first timers, I think this is going to change their entire experience. And that's the thing about Disney, is we want people, or I want people, to go to my most favorite place in the world and have a good experience and understand it and be able to really, really thoroughly enjoy it. And I do feel that this application is going to do just that, or that's what they're saying. So fingers crossed that what they're portraying and what they're saying that this application is going to do is actually going to be something that's really going to translate into the market of people, of tourists that come and experience the magic. But anyway, there's more on this. It says, sometimes you may know exactly what you want to do, but you may not know the best time or in order to do it. You'll be able to tell Genie, love this, love that we get to talk to Genie, what you'd like to experience, and it will quickly evaluate millions of options. Well, wow, that's a lot. And then it will present to you an optimal day. And best of all, it's flexible. If you change your mind for any reason, Disney Genie will re-optimize your day. I mean, if I could take out a little bit of planning time for my trip, I would love that. And so I'm just really, really interested to see what this application does. Now, I will say that I know a lot of travel agents, and that's what they do. And what I've always told travel agents, because I know some of them are gonna be like, well, let me plan your vacation. The thing is that I love planning my vacation, mainly because I love being in control, and especially of what I'm going to experience in the parks, because I have a lot of knowledge of what I want to do in the parks. Maybe I will try to, on one of my upcoming Disney trips, maybe I'll try to book through a travel agent, and then I will tell you all about my experience, because as someone who loves control, who knows a lot about Disney, I have a really hard time letting go and letting someone else plan my trip. Let me know down below if that's something that you would like me to do, because that would be really, really interesting to do. Anyway, guys, I've talked so much. That's enough about the parks. I always love hearing all of the updates. You'll have to let me know down below what your favorite update was. This was just a tiny, tiny portion. This was just some of the park announcements that they had. I know that there's tons of movies that are coming out, new restaurants, new resorts, you name it. They've got so much going on. So let me know down below what your favorite announcement was from the D23 Expo. Also, please weigh in on anything that we discussed in this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you made it until the end, you guys are absolute angels. I love you so much. Anyway guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also if you enjoy silly and fun Disney unboxings, traveling across the world and across the country and visiting the Disney parks with me, or if you like anything creative, crafty, and Disney, be sure to subscribe down below. It was super duper fun hanging out with you guys. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. TTFN, bye!